Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mindset Soldier podcast. Today, we've got an amazing guest called Gaz. We're going to talk about his story. This is going to be a very impactful story, inspiring. So, Gaz, please take over and introduce yourself, mate.
Yeah, my name's Gaz. I'm from the Northeast. Really honoured to be doing this today with Dave. So hope you all get something from it.
You've got a powerful story, a massive,
Appreciate that.
powerful story. You're an amazing man. So, I know you a little bit. So, let's get into it. I want to talk to you about, obviously, your upbringing.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning.
Born late 60s. I was born into a family where my mum got pregnant at 16 with my brother. I came along 11 months later. No love.
Was your mum quite religious back then, or
No. My dad's side of the family are very, very religious.
Catholic or
Methodist.
Okay, yeah.
So they were Methodist. My mum's side's no. She had a difficult sort of upbringing herself. So she got pregnant to my dad. Like I said, my brother was on the way. I came along 11 months later.
That's really close.
Very close,
Yeah.
But my dad on the wedding day actually told me mum, I don't love you. So it was,
Wow.
it was doomed to start from the beginning, to be honest.
Yeah.
My dad, there was no love in our family, not one bit. There was nothing shown that he loved you. Yeah.
Nothing was talked about.
100%. There's no, you never saw it. He thought that was normal. That's how everybody is. That's how I thought everybody was. My dad was a very physical man. He would, he'd hit you, punch you, throw you about. He used to have a belt with a lion's buckle on it, lion's head, and he used to get that if you'd done anything naughty. You couldn't really speak in the house in a sense because none of them would listen to you. Yeah. So you kind of learnt in some ways.
Was it speak when spoken?
Much, and if you said anything wrong, you got soap put on your tongue and different things like that, or you get a slap.
So you'd never really allow. You never had a childhood. I'm just going to say it, like you never had a childhood.
Never had. I could say that, but when I was at my mum and dad and where I lived, definitely not. But then I used to go to my nana's. I had a lovely nana and granda, and sadly, you don't realise that till they're dead, do you, sometimes? And I wish I'd said all the nice things because they tried their best to help me going through my life, and I threw it back in their face all the time. And you shouldn't have regrets.
They could probably see that. Did they know how your father and mother was? Or?
No. I think they probably knew how my mother was, but you can hold grudges, can't you? But I don't hold grudges to my mum and dad. My dad's dead now, sadly, but I don't hold grudges anymore. There's no point because it only beats yourself up, isn't it?
That's a powerful thing. Realistically, you may not forgive him in a way, but you've tried to forget about it. Forgiveness is a big part.
Oh, massively, 100%, because it chewed me up for years. But I always thought I'm the black sheep of the family. Nobody wants me. I'm unloved. So you kind of turn that internally and think that's about nobody wants me. I'm unimportant.
You're broken as a child already.
I massively
They should have been building you.
Oh, 100%. So you're trying to build it yourself, but in a negative way. If I'd been a millionaire, if I'd been negative, I'd be a millionaire. Because back then I was, I'm a big believer, what you put out, you get back in, don't you? Yeah, so if you put negative out, you're going to get a lot of negative back in. And that's how I was. But like I say, my dad was, he wasn't a tough man in the sense being out in the street scrapping. He wasn't a drinker or anything like that, but he was a tough man in the house. You got nothing off him, no emotion at all, apart from anger.
So the family environment was, he's on the throne.
Oh, massively, aye.
That was his kind of. I'm trying to think of the right word to say. It's his way or no way kind of thing. It was.
Yeah, he was a hard worker. That part I've got off him. He was definitely a hard worker. He had his own business. He bought his own house when I was 7-year-old. So he grafted. He had his like a painter and decorator. So he was always working. You never really saw him, but
you can't have been happy though.
I don't think he don't.
You don't do that to a kid. You don't do that to a family if you're happy.
He didn't want children. That was the thing.
So he sees you more of a burden.
Oh, 100%. And that was to my mum as well. My mum was a young woman, good-looking woman. She used to do Miss Tyne Tees, Miss Border. She was a really nice-looking woman. Yeah. But again, she showed no love. If there was a dog there injured, she would nurse that dog till it got better. If we were hurt, you had to go to the bedroom and stay out the way. There was no... That was exactly that. So in a sense, I used to hate my pets, which sounds bad. You try and give them a little kick and things like that because you were jealous of your pets.
Because they got more love than you.
Massively.
Yeah.
So it's kind of when I got bullied a bit at school, And I used to run away from school. And I used to go down to, it's like a little beach where I come from, and kind of hide out, really.
What part of the country are you from again?
A place called Berwick upon Tweed.
Okay.
It's like 60 miles north of Newcastle. It's right in the English-Scottish border. Oh, it's far, aye. But it's a beautiful place, and I still have good friends there from way back. They were my family, to be honest. But no, like going back, and I'd run away from school and different things and get into trouble and that. And sadly, I ran away one day and I got sexually abused of this guy down the beach.
How old are you then?
About 9.
That's very young.
Aye. And he tried to put a knife up me arse, which fucking hell.
9 years old, man.
9, aye.
So what's that like to even go through, bro? Like, you obviously know a little bit about my story.
Yeah.
But that...
I blame myself.
Why?
Because I was always told you're no good. I was always in trouble as a little kid. I was to blame for everything that went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened to me, I thought it was my fault.
So everything that went wrong in your life, you always thought it was you, even if it wasn't you.
It was in my head, it was my fault. I couldn't even, I couldn't even tell my mum and dad had been abused, anything like that, because I thought I'd get into trouble. Mm. And I don't want to go too far forward because it spoils the story will come into, but I buried that so deep inside me, it didn't come out till later on in life when it came out.
But your body never forgets.
No, massively. Like
you might try and think you're blocking that out here.
Fuck, 100%, Dave.
You come quite, not a nasty person, but it can be turned into a bad way.
Yeah.
Projected, hurting people that you don't want to hurt.
No, and it's usually people that's close to you. So anyway, that happened, and I remember going back again around the same sort of. It's all mad how it sort of happened around the same time. I broke into a house at the end of the road with a couple of pals, and we got caught. Police came, and my dad done what he would do, to give you the belt and different things like that. And I decided then, back then, it was the middle of winter, that's it, I'm going to run away from home. And I remember getting up early in the morning, about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I decided to walk to my granny's, which was 14 miles away. And even back then, I was so switched on, because I used to read military comics all the time, the Commander, the Victor, the Warlord. I don't know if you may be too young for them ones, but
thanks for that.
But I always wanted to be a soldier. That was my thing. So by learning that, even when I was going to my granny's, I remember coming. I knew I couldn't go over a bridge, and the till where the river was frozen. So I lay on the till on the river and slid myself over. I knew if I put all my weight on it. So even then, when I'd be hiding when I seen cars coming and things, got to my granny's. Got my cousin, but she was just going to follow me, my cousin. And we had this fantasy, we're going to go and live at my uncle's farm. And we'll live in the haystacks, just kids. But we got caught. The police caught us. I got taken back home. And the first thing my dad wanted to do was just beat me up.
Yeah.
And I remember the copper, he was called Sergeant Laidlaw. And he stopped my dad. And he says, you're going to have trouble with that kid. And 5 years later, probably 15, 16-year-old, he was putting me in the back of the police van, and that was a long line of convictions to come from that day. I was just an angry young man, and people might say you're a hard man, and I'm not into that stuff. I was actually a scared little lad.
Of course.
Aye, definitely. But I put this mask on, and I got lost behind the mask, and I became I loved I was getting recognised for being violent, and he's crazy, he's mental, and all things like that sort of stuff. And that's how I lost myself, really.
Sometimes it's easier to be feared than loved.
Oh, 100%. And it keeps people away, doesn't it? And things like that.
You set a boundary for yourself. If you got this kind of outlook to other people, you're not going to be that scared little boy again. They're not going to come and hurt you.
100%. And it was... And I remember sadly, my mum met another guy, which she'd met a few, actually. And I remember coming home from school, and me and my brother were sitting there. My mum says, right, you're coming with me. And Stephen was my brother. You're sitting there, taken away in the car, went to the shops, got a load of shopping in, then got taken to another house, walked in, was all lovely decorated. You said tea, and this guy came down. I didn't know this guy. And this was me moved into a house, and my mum and dad had separated. So even that.
So she left your brother?
She left my brother at my dad
Yeah.
and just took me out, and that was me moved into another house. And
Do you know why she did that? Why she separated you like that? Not brought your brother?
I don't know. She probably thought it was the best way to do it. She thought the youngest has to go with the mum, and the oldest stays with the dad. I don't know if that was right.
I think, yeah, I kind of get that perception. That's what happened with me and my mum when I was,
Right, okay.
was talking. Like, my stepdad was quite violent and stuff, and
Aye.
she took me and my little sister away when I was at 4 other kids.
Yeah.
I think she was just trying to protect you in a way, maybe.
My mum didn't protect. It was just, I was a burden. I knew that from day one. And my brother, if he was sitting here, although we don't see each other, he would tell you probably the same story, maybe a different angle, because we all see things differently, don't we? So anyway, that was me moved in. But from that day, from 12-year-old, it was like going to bed putting the light off and switching it back on. And it was like I was a different person. For whatever happened, I thought, this is stopping it. I don't believe I said that in my head. And I never, ever was bullied again after that day. I'd stopped it. And even if anybody was going to fight me, I'd fight them. Even if I got beat, I didn't care. I'm not going to be that.
You broke.
Aye. Yeah.
You mentally broke.
It was like a light switch. I've had enough of this. And I remember the guy bought me a DT50. You're probably young enough.
I don't know what that is.
I was going to say that. Yamaha DT50.
Yeah.
For my birthday. He was just buying me love. He had money in that. And this was my first suicide attempt. I remember getting onto the bike and I thought, you know what? I'll go to I lived right across the A1, and I thought, I'm just going to end my life today. And I thought, all the lads would be thinking, fuck, he's crazy, he's just fucking done this and things like that. And I remember coming to the A1, I seen the wagon coming down. So I turned round and faced the A1 and went as fast as you could to the DT50, 35 mile an hour, that's as fast. And as I got to the junction, I saw the wagon going past, so I missed it. And I went into the side of a Mark II Escort. And I remember waking up, getting put in the ambulance. And I remember my first thoughts were, I can't even fucking do this right. I couldn't even end my life.
You submitted that force again.
Aye. Yeah. And I didn't really know what suicide was and mental health and all that stuff, but I suffered.
You just wanted the pain to end.
Aye.
Most people that go through suicide don't want to die.
No,
they just want the pain and the relief to go.
I hated myself, and I thought everybody else hated me. And I couldn't look myself in the mirror, anything like that. I just fucking hated myself massively.
So what was your age around? Was you 12?
That was 16 when I done the suicide attempt. But before then, I was self-harming from 5-year-old. I used to have really long eyelashes, and I looked like a girl, as my mum used to call her. I used to pull them all out. Yeah. I used to punch myself in the head and different things, and not realising that was self-harming. But I can remember doing that from as far back as I just hated myself. I just thought everybody hated me, and I hated myself.
I feel that. I'm so sorry you went through that, bro. But I know the feeling. Like, I can empathise with it in a way. It's because you don't like the skin.
Aye.
I used to try and self-harm. I used to write my name in me. I used to try and rip my skin off, hit myself. I never when I was in the care centre because I was abused. And you don't know who to trust in because you can't even trust yourself.
Definitely not. No, I definitely trust. I think looking back, when you look back on my life, but I know you've served in that, but you get into lots of scraps. I've been in lots of things I probably shouldn't have done. But the hardest battle was, and I honestly believe this was myself.
You had no direction. You had no direction from no one, no parents, no family, no nothing.
There was a direction. I had to do what they taught me to do. That was their direction. But I've always sort of been a rebel in a sense. So it's always kind of...
That's not your direction. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's not your direction. That's their direction. Because I think a lot of people try and push you into a way where it's self-harm in a way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, it's just mad you went through that, bro. 16, did you even have a good day?
I can't remember. No, I was like two people, Dave. It's like, when I was at home, I was fake. I honestly believe that. But when I was at my nana's, my gran's,
that was your comfort blanket.
This is fucking me.
It
was freedom and things. And my granddad was a tough guy. He was a disciplinary guy and things like that. You knew they wanted.
Was you allowed to be
myself?
You?
100%. I remember when my mum and dad used to come and pick us up because we'd always spend time there at the holidays. I'd be crying my eyes out in the back of the car. I just did not want to go home because I knew what I was going back to all the time. The horrible home and the bullying at the school and things like that.
That was your safe haven. That was your
massively
kind of thing in a way.
And alcohol was a massive player in my life. And it's a funny one. It was like,
is this from your parents' side, or is this you getting into alcohol?
me getting into alcohol. My dad never drank. My mum did. My mum liked to party, and that, but my dad was never a drinker, smoker, or anything. He was his own man. Whatever.
I think that's a good thing.
Do
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine if he was, it would have been.
But no, he was never a. No, I can't even remember him having a drink, to be honest. But I found early on in life, alcohol helped me. It gave me confidence, especially when I started going to the pubs. Fake confidence. Yeah. It allowed me to speak, because I'm quite an introvert, really. I know we're chatting here today. I'm not naturally a person who'll go and chat out there and things like that. I'm quite happy in my own little space. But it gave me a chance to speak to the lads, speak to the girls and things like that.
Yeah.
But the negative of it was, I always say it was friend or foe alcohol with me. The foe side of it was probably after 6-7 pints, I started to turn, and I could see the nastiness starting to come and things.
It's the kettle kind of syndrome thing. You put the kettle on it. It seems to be boiling a little bit, getting to a temperature, but when there's too much, that the overflow comes.
100%. It helped me sleep at night. If I couldn't sleep, I used to have knives, sticks all around the bedroom, different things. I thought, if I fall asleep this way, at least I've got a stick if somebody comes from the room. I was always, you'll know this now yourself, it's hypervigilant. I didn't know what that meant then, but I'm just
scared kid again.
Aye, yeah.
You got no way out.
No way out.
You might as well try and protect yourself in some way.
Yeah. But no, this alcohol played a massive part of my life. Whereas I'd not eat and things like that. As long as I had my money for my alcohol, that was most important.
So you become dependent on it?
Yeah, I don't know if I was I know I've got that nature. I was definitely dependent. Yeah, I am, because I was.
If you're choosing it over food, mate, you're dependent on it.
Yeah. And I chose it over bills later on in life. Not a bill. I wanted to keep the money for to get out and party and things like that. So I did have that sort of
relationship.
I definitely a friend of.
That's what it comes.
Yeah.
Anything you do every day, or it's a relationship with something. It becomes a habit.
Massively. And friendships, I'm a loyal friendship, a loyal friend. And I think when I look back again, it's.
Why are you that? I have my own meaning about it.
What I would think, probably coming back from a child, I never had anything of that around me, and I've thought, right, me and you are friends, Dave. I do think it's a subconscious. You phone me up, I'm there for you. I want to be that person. You knock on my door first. If you're in danger or anything like that, I want to be that number. You come to me. Don't want you to go to anybody else. If you go to somebody else, I start doubting myself. And I was quite a friend where friendship would probably be, I'd put my friendship on you more. Whereas when I look back, they probably wouldn't understand it because I've had good upbringings. Loyalty is,
I think, a big thing for people who have gone through stuff like that. You'll be there for them, no matter fucking what.
But you sometimes don't get it back. No. And you think
99% of the time you don't get it back.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, what have I done wrong again?
Yeah.
Am I a bad friend?
Yeah.
When you're not.
But you don't look at it as them. And actually they're doing nothing wrong, they're just getting on with their lives. It just meant a lot. Trust meant a lot to me, which I found that very difficult in relationships and things massively. But loyalty, I've got a cracking friend at home. When you read the book, you'll read about him, Michael. Fucking hell, man, he's been there for me fucking more than he'll ever know, to be honest.
It's more than a friend, though, isn't it?
Oh, fuck.
It's a lifelong friend at the end of the day.
It's family for blood. That's actually better for me. Yeah. That way, like, yeah.
Do you not think that's a mad mentality to have as well? It's not a mad mentality, but sometimes family don't mean fuck all.
My family have now, but my family for mum, dad and things like that, definitely not, apart from my nan and granddad. Like,
we have two chances in life to make a family. One what we're born into and one what we make.
Yeah.
And my family, obviously, I've got two beautiful kids and a partner, and I've got 3-4 mates that are just, I could call them right now, bro. They could be 400 miles away. Yeah. I'll be their mate. I could have a friend down the road.
Yeah.
I'm busy, mate. I'm just eating. You have to know where your friendships stop in life.
Yeah.
And the more you allow your negative friendships, the people that don't bring anything to the table. But people just say to me, yeah, it's nice to give all the time. Yeah, it's nice to give to the right people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you're constantly giving to the wrong people, all you're doing is reaffirming the negative thoughts you have about yourself.
No, and I've learned that over the years and being away from home and setting up a new life down in Birmingham and things. You realise who's important.
Best part of the country, this, mate.
I still home up north, like, but no. But I was always in trouble with the police and things like that. And again, if any of my friends were fighting, I would actually try and jump in for them. Didn't really care about me.
You wanted to be the saviour.
Aye, probably St. Michael, isn't it? It's that feeling where you want to be
the protector.
The angel, isn't
it?
Yeah. It's always, and I've been like that since a little boy, really. I've wanted it, but I was never really good at doing it to myself.
Of course, yeah.
But for my friends, I'd lay my life down for my friends, to be honest, 100%.
For people that like yourself, that have gone through stuff like this, it's a very powerful tool that you've been given, I think, because you've gone through so many struggles and absolute freaking trauma. What you do is you constantly pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And some people can't do it. You know, people that are brought up in nice surroundings.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, if one thing goes wrong in their life, they think it's the end of their life kind of thing. But we're like, whatever.
No, but I'm a believer. I don't know if you are. I believe in fate. I don't believe in coincidence. That's my opinion. So I can trace myself back to the day as far back as I can. That was meant to happen. That was meant to. Even the abuse, as much as I wish it never happened, it allows me to do what I want to do today. And that's the thing, because I can't do what I'm doing if I haven't went through the same thing as you. Although it can be certain different, but you have that empathy then, don't you? For whoever walks in my door, you've got that little bit of an empathy for them.
How can you read a book if you've not read the chapters?
Say that again?
How can you read a book if you've not read the chapters?
Yeah, true. Aye. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Aye, yeah.
And your life is a big, powerful book, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's changing lives, which you do.
But you don't see that, Dave.
If you did, you'd be quite narcissistic. You'd be quite ego-driven because you think it's my story. You're constantly pouring, bro.
Yeah. No, I see that when we do talks on sites and different things. You can see the lads coming up to us. The lads will email me and Michelle afterwards and things. And some fucking, there's some people, a lot of people going through fucking shit, man, and they're carrying it every day.
You can just tell, can't you?
Oh, as soon as you meet somebody, don't you? You can tell, like.
You're just like, mate, sit down.
Aye. Yeah.
You can just tell from their persona,
100%.
especially from a man to man, like what you're doing across the country now, doing talks at construction sites and all across. You can just look at a man and just like,
you know straight away, don't you?
And when you're so open with what you talk about, you can just see like,
Nah, I used to work for a guy in Grimsby, a security guy. He had a friend over in Kosovo where there was a war going on, but he was a mercenary. And it was kind of coming to the end then. And he says, look, I can get you over there. So I'll get you on the boat and get yourself over to Europe and we'll get the directions and meet up with so-and-so. And that's what I was going to do. But in my head, Dave, I thought, this is it. I'm going to go there. Just whatever happens, I was going to get a bullet put from your head. And that was my plan.
Suicidal thoughts.
Oh, massively. That's where I wanted to be. And again, this crazy image the lads would be talking about was in the pub. Fucking look what he's done now. He's fucking went there. And all fantasy in my head and that. But that's where I was going. And the night before I was going to go, my old boss, he was having trouble with drug dealers. And he says, come into the pub with us just for backup. Goes into this pub. The lads are all on the side. But there was 2 women in this pub this night. And he was right one for the women. I wasn't that bothered. I had a failed marriage and I just wanted to disappear, to be honest. He says, we'll get these women, we'll get them another night. So he copped off of this woman and I copped off this other woman. She wasn't interested in me. And a year later, I was married to this woman. And that's the woman you're going to meet.
How mad's that?
Aye.
Right place, wrong time kind of thing, in a way.
Yeah. There was conditions to that marriage. I had to stop getting pissed.
Is this what she put in?
Aye, and rightly so, like, because, I was a dick, like.
You got some warning orders before you...
No, but I needed that, because I'd have took the piss, literally.
You needed discipline.
Aye, yeah. It just says, and get help. Or it's not going to be possible. So, I'm proud to say, sitting here, and I always say this, I'm 24 years in now, and I've never been pissed.
Amazing.
That was that night. That was it. When she said that was it. Counselling I went to, I found that hard because the embarrassment, I couldn't tell anybody at all, the shame of it and things back then. Had 12 weeks with a lovely woman called Jane, 1 hour a week. She says, I can't really help you. She says, I'm going to have to refer you because whatever's going on, she said, it's trauma-based. Too complex. So I went to a psychologist, Dr. Lombrod, and fucking 8 years with that man.
8 years.
8 years. I was so off the wall. He was going to section me because he was worried what was going to happen to Michelle. So I had to move out the house, to promise him to move out. So I went and moved into a B&B.
To safeguard Michelle.
Safeguard Michelle and that. But I got worse and worse at the time where I couldn't even leave the house. I went down to 9 stone in weight.
What do you think this was? Because obviously you've gone through everything you've gone in your life. You've had a very colourful life.
Aye.
Traumatic, struggles, trauma. You've got something good here.
Yeah.
Why were you going the opposite?
And
because it was going good? That you thought you were going to self-destruct again? Or?
It was good. No, the therapy. See, this sounds bad because I don't want to put people off from therapy. Because I was getting therapy, I got ill. And I got worse.
Therapy's hard work.
It's fucking hard, man. But it's worth it. I've got to say that because as I'm sitting here with you today, Dave, and I am blessed. But I remember I went down to 9 stone in weight. Michelle would come. Michelle used to be a teacher. She would come in, worried if I was been dead. I'd just be sitting in the same spot she left me when she went away to work. I'd be sitting there, couldn't eat. She'd liquidise my food. Got taken to hospital because I was that ill. And actually they found out because of me drinking, the lining was off my stomach and that. But it was actually the emotional stuff I was going through. I'd be constantly having diarrhea.
Energy.
Oh, massively. Constantly having diarrhea, things like that. But I knew I had to. When I started my therapy, I knew I was going to get to the end. I didn't realise it was going to be 8 years. So even
do you think if you knew it was going to be 8 years, you would have started?
Well, that's yeah. No, you've got to. No, definitely. Like I wouldn't. Yeah, and I don't think Michelle would have been with me as well. To be honest, we knew it was going to be so hard.
I think this is important what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you carry on. It's so important to be real and honest about therapy.
Yeah,
because it's fucking hard work.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
You get ill, physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
Some days you don't want to turn up. But that's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So you can get past that certain parts. Because physically, you completely change as a person.
Oh, definitely.
Inside and out.
The way you outlook at life and everything.
Changes, yeah.
I wish I brought the photograph because I use photographs on my journey when we do my talks.
If you can send them me later.
I will do
that.
Please, and there's one of me and my brother, a little boy. I was still in nappies on the beach. I don't know who or where it was or wherever like that. But my thing was, I want to find that boy. I always had this in my head. I want to find this boy. And I've got a photograph book at home and it's all cuttings of when I played football, when I done kickboxing and things like that. So it's all positive comments of other people. And when I was in my darkest days, I used to fucking read these all the time. Read them. Although it wasn't my belief, it was somebody else's belief in me. But that used to help me. Just a simple fucking photograph book. But I used to constantly look at it. But I remember one of my goals was to go and buy a newspaper. And I was paranoid as fucking. It was getting worse because that was because of the therapy as well, really. I had to buy a newspaper. And the newspaper shop was 500 metres away from the house. And I know this because I fucking measured it later on. It took me 2.5 weeks to go and buy that paper. Every day I would come out, I'd be drenched in sweat. I was worried if somebody looked at me and my natural thing would be to fight. I'm just going to attack. So I was scared of what am I going to do to people. So I'd get a marker. That's my mark. And I'll go back home and have a panic attack. And I thought, doesn't matter what happens next tomorrow, even if it's one step past that fucking mark, I'm going to go there. And that's what I did. And I remember getting into the paper shop and I was just soaking. And the shopkeeper says, is it raining outside? No, but I was fucking drenched. That's how and I was a fit lad back then. But it absolutely fucked me when I started.
That's what trauma does to you.
Aye, massively. Like,
completely changes that.
So it was complex. Well, it was multiple trauma then. It's called complex trauma now. Attachment disorder. All the stuff that comes off from that is depression, low self-esteem and all that thing. So it's not just them you're dealing with, it's everything. Michelle had to change her life. I won't go into too much of her stuff, but she had to change her life because she comes from such a loving family, close family, but I didn't want anybody to see how bad I was. I was embarrassed by it. And I'm not a role model to bring, this is my new man to share, who's come to a loving family. You can understand why they probably didn't want me to be part of the family because because fucking who am I?
Exactly. Yeah.
But she fucking stuck by me, man. She helped me all the way. Decided.
Do you think you'd be here without her?
Nah. And I can honestly say that 100%, definitely not. I can't say I went to Kosovo. I was meant to go there, but it's all buts. You never know, do you?
You would have fucked up your life, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely. If I went into jail and got jail long term, I wouldn't have survived now. I 100%.
That was your comfort blanket, though, without her.
Aye.
That trauma, constantly going in and out of the system,
Definitely.
constantly self-harming yourself, physically, mentally,
massively, which sounds odd to some people, doesn't it? But it's true.
It's how we get through in life. I've constantly hurt myself constantly through life because guess what?
It's what you know as well.
Comfort blanket.
It is. Aye. Maybe not.
At least it's an emotion. I know what it feels like.
Aye. No, but no, Dave. Moved to Birmingham. So things started to get better and things like that. My mental health was still not too good, so I would travel twice a week from Birmingham to Grimsby, which is probably 140 mile there, 140 mile back. I never missed a session.
And there's no traffic ever going to Grimsby, is there?
No,
every time I go and see my mates.
It's a tough old place, isn't it?
Yeah. Some of the amazing people.
Aye, definitely. Down to earth.
Yeah.
See how it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Aye, definitely. And I've still got good friends up there. But go there, I'd be breaking down, like crying and different things like that. But I never missed a session. And even when the guy moved up to East Kilbride, which is not far from Glasgow, I would travel up to fucking there. I never missed a session in 8 years. Just wanted to I didn't want to go, but I was determined. I set my mind to it, and I thought I'm fucking doing this, like, and I did. I was pumping my meds, all the time for years.
How was you on them?
I don't know. I was on venlafaxine for a long time. There's
quite a lot of side effects with them.
Aye, and what I'd done was, which was the wrong way, so please don't do this. Me and my wife went to Ireland because she's got a big Irish family. Went way over there, and I left my meds at home. I thought I'm coming off them. Went there and I proper clocked over there, proper crash, like. But I got off them, and I didn't want to go back on them. So it's that thing. But I know that's the wrong way. You're best doing it.
It's the wrong medical way, but it's the right way for you.
It was the right way for me. I just wanted to. Maybe it's a little bit impatient. I'm coming off them. Just that was it. My mind was.
What I'm hearing about your story is you're very in the sand kind of guy. It's you put that line in the sand.
Aye, yeah.
That is it.
Aye,
I'm changing it. I'm doing this. I'm doing that, no matter what.
Yeah, it might take us a long time to get there sometimes, but once that switch, I always think the switch when I went to that house, a 12-year-old, my life changed. I always like to look at it as a light switch. That's it. I'm changing now. Same way I'd done smoking, smoked, not smoking again, and that was it. And I've always kind of had that sort of nature, willpower, or whatever you want to call it. So from there, I decided to do different kind of work. I went and worked for the homeless people because I'd been homeless when I was younger.
So you want to kind of give back?
I wanted to give something back. So I done 2 years. I set myself up 2 years to do different things. So 2 years was going to be with this company over in Wolverhampton. But what I noticed in there was a lot of drugs coming into the place. And I am anti-drug, like. And I thought, no, I'm not having this. These people are vulnerable. I didn't realise it was one of the managers who was actually bringing the drugs in to start off with. So he's just fucking exploiting all these vulnerable people. And I was just painting one night. And you probably understand when you get a feeling something's not right. And I turned around, I had a tin of paint there and a paintbrush, and this fucking lad charging it was with a knife. And all my training went out the fucking window, all that thing. You can grab this and grab that and did this. Fucking boot to the nuts. And I remember him dropping and he started crying. And I am a softie, like.
Yeah.
And he says, they've made us do it. And I actually believe this kid, actually, because he wasn't a bad kid, this. So I took him into the office. He says, please don't say anything. He says, because they'll throw me out. So I didn't say anything, didn't write it down. And I remember going home and probably just got into bed about 9 o'clock in the morning. The phone went, can you come straight back out? So I went out. Basically, there was another big boss there. You've been told that you've assaulted somebody on site. So-and-so who made a complaint. Can you tell me your story? Because there's nothing in the logbook. I thought, shit, didn't write anything down. And the only thing I remember was on the camera. And I looked back in the camera and I saw the kid coming toward. It was only a spud knife, but he still was going to stab us with it. And they said they've got the guy, and they actually threw the guy out. But I handed my notice in there and then, like I thought, and I said, I can't see, but I think you're bringing weed into this place. And I just left it at that and I walked out, and that was me finished there. But if I hadn't had that in the camera, I'd have never had that career, because I wouldn't be allowed to work with vulnerable people.
Exactly.
So from there, I went to the children's homes, because obviously I'd been abused and I wanted to help the children. So I'd done 2 years with the children, starting to get qualifications. I was thrown out of school. I never had anything. Qualifications. I'm getting these qualifications, still having my therapy. Then Michelle got pregnant. And I was scared, because I thought, am I going to be like my dad? Yeah, because that's the only skills I'd learnt off my dad and my mum, which being good skills. So I was scared. And I remember I went to Dudley Hospital and we found out having twins. So
How was that?
Oh, just the best feeling for both of us, because we've been trying to have a kid. We actually thought there was something wrong, and she got pregnant with twins. But then the consultant woman said, we can see there's something not right. They actually thought it might be Down syndrome, but I didn't care. You know, if they're both Down syndrome, they're both Down syndrome. It doesn't bother me. Like, so we got sent to the fetal ward at the Birmingham Women's Hospital, and they came back with a thing called twin-to-twin syndrome. I won't go on that, Dave, because it's really complicated. But bless Michelle, she fucking fought. Twice a week she'd be in there. A massive needle be put into her womb.
Yeah.
To take all the fluid out. She'd have to stay in there. The pain she was going through, you just want to swap over, don't you?
Of course.
But it started to affect me again. I'm still in my therapy, because I think this is my fault. This is karma. So Michelle doesn't even park on double yellow lines. You know, she doesn't do anything wrong. She tries to do everything right. So that. But anyway,
did you think you were the negative part of that?
Massively, 100%.
If anything bad happens, it's because of you.
My fault. But that's from a kid, isn't it? 28 weeks came, we went in. The consultant says they need to be born today, or they won't survive.
That's quite early as well.
28 weeks in. There was no beds for twins in Birmingham. There's beds for single, none at all. So the only place we could go was Shrewsbury. So we got blue lighted to Shrewsbury. Michelle was whipped in, had a cesarean. Alana was born first. Dana came second. Lana was really poorly, so she had to get rushed back to the Children's Hospital in Birmingham. So I went with Alana. Michelle couldn't walk around because she had the cesarean. She had to stay with Dana, obviously.
Were the twins ill inside?
I had twin-to-twin syndrome. It's called.
All I know from obviously twins watching programs is if one's ill, it sucks the life out of the other, and so forth. It's back and forth.
I think when you speak to Michelle, she's probably in my head. I just want them to be all right.
Of course.
So I stayed there with Alana, and the consultant said, she's not going to make it. People say I'm in denial here. I just didn't want to get in my head. I think she's fucking making it. She's going to make it. She's going to make it. And it would sit there for 3 days, but then I could see her legs starting to go black and purple. So I fucking knew then. I remember the consultant saying she's probably got 3 or 4 hours to live. And I remember making that phone call to Michelle. She was back in Shrewsbury. Fucking hell, man. Trying to say that to the phone. It's the hardest message I've ever said. I could just hear screaming at the other end. And the phone went dead. So I went back to the set with Alana till she passed away. About an hour and a quarter later, I heard all the screaming. What Michelle done, put the phone down, phoned her dad. She wasn't meant to come and pick me up because I'm coming to the hospital. So bless Pat, it was a lovely, he's dead now as well, bless my lovely fella. Took him, went out there, brought Michelle back. But at least, if you can take anything positive from this, at least Michelle held her daughter before she died and she was still alive. So dealing with all that, Michelle had to go back to Shrewsbury, deal with the funeral and different things like that. And Dana started doing well. And I would travel up twice a day to see her, see both of them. And I remember on the 26th day, there was a bed coming in Wolverhampton. So it was going to get closer to home. And because Dana was doing well, but they'd done all these tests with her and they found out, again, I can't put names to it, basically something to do with the bacteria in her belly. And within 24 hours, she died. And I always remember coming back in the car, and I know this for a fact, Dave, if Michelle hadn't been in that car that day, I would have fucking, that's me. And I always say this, and I do say it when I'm doing my talks, there's that many wagons on the road. I missed the first time when I was 16, I'd have hit fucking one this time, like I'd have went for it. And I remember coming home, I couldn't speak to Michelle. She wanted to speak to me, and I was being selfish, to be honest, Dave. I just couldn't look at her. And I remember getting a bottle of vodka. It was cracked it open. And for whatever reason, I bought a taste it, and I poured it down the fucking sink. I thought, that was the switch for me again, was I'm either going to just go back to my old fucking ways, because I don't deserve this. The woman I love dearly, who's helped me all these years to get better, she's suffering because of me. But I had that switch, and I thought, I'm going to do something good. I'm going to do something good. So every day since that day, Dave, I'm not saying I'm an angel, because I'd be wrong to say that. I've worked hard to try and better myself, better the people around me, help the people around me to better themselves. And that's been my journey since that day. I speak to my little girls every morning. I say morning to them, say night to them. But that's when I went into all these other things to try and put something back into my life. Decided that 8 years into my therapy, I'm finished. It's me finished. Never been back since. I'm not saying I don't know what the right word is, to be honest, Dave. I still have stuff going on, but I know how to deal with my stuff myself now. That's by going wild camping on my motorbike, up the hills. That's my antidepressant now. And I honestly, as soon as I'm out in nature, I'm alive again, man. It's just, everything's away. But no, from that day. So I remember,
do you think your daughters gave you a little bit of life, in a way?
As much, obviously I'd want my daughter, it's the anniversary tomorrow, Dana's. That's like 20 years now. That was a major thing. As much as you would never want that to happen, and I would rather be dead myself than they'd be alive. 100%. But that changed my life, and I used that as a positive. Which I don't know if that does sound strange to people.
It's not, bro.
I thought, I'm fucking going to do this.
What else would have come of it? Imagine you just
I just went back to my old ways.
You'd have been that alcoholic. You'd have been that person dead and living number. If you didn't choose, that's the massive thing in life is we choose in life.
Massively.
A tree is always going to be a tree. A line's going to be we can choose how our direction goes in life. To go through that, bro. I couldn't be here, bro. I couldn't do it.
You'd be surprised, Dave.
I really don't know my kids. I get it. That's why I'm quite tearful now, bro.
Yeah. No, bless you.
You're a fucking powerful man, bro. To go through that. Shut up. You're a fucking powerful man to go through that. Yes, you've got Michelle there, bro, but to go through that, to still have the urge and the purpose to help people to what you've gone through. It's fucking powerful. Be proud of yourself, bro. Your daughters would be so fucking proud of you, bro.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that, mate.
Do you know what I mean? They've gave you the light that you needed to carry on your journey and purpose in this world, I think. No, so, I mean, they're your little angels, bro.
No, that 100%. We find things sometimes. I'm a believer in this. I'm not saying I'm a religious person, but I do believe there's something there.
Fucking hell, there's got to be, mate. What's the what's the point, bro?
Yeah, what's the point? Actually, what's the point of it all?
It's hope at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So that day, that was another light switch thing for me. And that's what I did. Like I said, I went to the children's homes, different things, and worked for the drug and alcohol guys on the street.
How did you find working with them?
I loved it. I fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. I love
Not many people would say that.
I know, but people look down on them, man. That's fucking wrong, man. You give these people, I know there's ones that take the piss, I know that. But some of these people, when you listen to the stories and give them time.
Just from a hug.
Aye.
That's what I found. It's not really spare a moment.
Definitely. And I used to, but then I worked for the Irish welfare, which was probably the best job I've ever had. The money was shit. Yeah. But my manager at the time, she was an alcoholic herself, a lovely Belfast woman. She just let me have a free rein, go out and do your stuff. And I used to go out in parks and things and find alcoholics or drug addicts and want help. Okay. I had this relationship with this consultant at Walsall Manor. If I got somebody in there, because his sister died of alcoholism, so he had an understanding, because a lot of people haven't got an understanding of addiction. And I'd get people in there and they would detox them, and I'd take them to the rehab, probably down Western Supermare was the one where I usually took them, and just leave them at the door. Because you've got to do it yourself, like, and it's that true thing, horse to water, isn't it?
You've got to help them more, right?
Nah,
especially 100. Like just reflecting back on that with my story with my sister, anything I would have done to top her face. My mum was an alcoholic, my sister was an alcoholic, and she drunk herself into the grave. She was only 32 when she passed away.
Oh, bless, sorry.
But she just drank herself, and there's nothing I could do. I had to go through when she passed away, I was in a mental health hospital in Basingstoke. I was there for 5 months.
Yeah.
I was like, you need to let me out to go and see my sister. Like, they let me out, but there's nothing we could have done to help her.
Yeah.
Even when I come back at the weekends, and I'd rather her drink around me than go to the off license, get a litre.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to help these. All they need is a hug sometimes to get them through.
No, definitely. Oh, bless you, mate.
It destroyed. Just my sister was we were the black sheep of the family. My sister was my mum. When she passed away, that was a turning point in my fucking life, bro.
Yeah.
Because when I was in that mental health hospital, my family didn't turn up for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That was my second suicide attempt. No one came to see me there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But everyone's got their own problems. But I had to. That was fuck this. I'm going to see my sister.
Yeah.
She died in the hospice, but she gave me strength because every time I turned up there, she would say, like, just go, just live your life. Like, you've just keep being you, Dave. Like, keep doing it. And that will never leave me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this for myself. I'm being the best version of.
Yeah.
Do you mean? Because, mate, 10 years ago, I was homeless, bro, living around here. So behind this street is where I got my first accommodation after living on the streets.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a fucking podcast with someone like you, bro. It's
look,
mad how life comes around.
Look at your life, though, innit?
Yeah. Stop passing on. Just take some appreciation, bro. But it's
so and like I say, I would the things I used to do, man. It doesn't matter. I remember breaking into this house, but this is when I was at the Irish Welfare. But this guy was getting detox in Selly Oak. You know where the soldiers used to go, but there used to be a place for detoxing people as well there.
Yeah.
And he says,
"Gaz, it was a department part of it, wasn't it?
No, it was but it was a proper hospital. There's a lot of the drinkers used to go there. And this guy, a lovely guy, like, he says, "Gaz, all my fucking stuff's in the house." Obviously, they put all the metal shuttering up because you owed that much money. He says, "All my stuff in that." He says, "I've got no fucking clothes, my wallet's there and everything." I thought, wow, we haven't got it down there. So I've managed to get that stuff off the back window.
Your skills and drills came into play there.
I knocked the window on, got his stereo out and everything, all that stuff. And that's the kind of thing. And then I know it's wrong in somebody's eyes, but you know what? This fucking guy's got a fucking shit life. He's struggling. And if all he wants to do is listen to his music, that's all he's got in life. That's all he's got in life. But I lost, not because I lost my job then in 2010, because of the recession. So the only thing I could do then was either go back into construction, or I thought, go back into the care industry, or go back into the close protection world, but actually do it right this time and do it because I'm in a better place. So I went away to Switzerland, done all my firearms there. It was like in a big mine. This ex-Royal Marine was doing it. It was brilliant, man. Again, it was all squaddies there and ex-squaddies and that. I fucking loved it. It's like 2 weeks there in the mine, doing all drills with cars and things. It was just brilliant. Then I went to Uganda with this Belgian lad. The two of us went over there for this company. And we were teaching guys, the Ugandans, to go to Iraq just to be like on the gates of security and different things, just basic weapon skills. But for me was teaching them skills then. I learned this in Army Cadets. It was the old Lee, you won't remember this either, the old Lee Enfield 303s.
Yeah.
That's what they were using. So we're taught them basic weapon skills there. Done debt collecting, which sounds mad over there. Done stuff like that. Then after that, I went to Libya. I got a phone call to go to Libya to take these 3 people in. Again, stupid. You shouldn't be taking 3 people in. We had to make Cairo, had a driver, and we had to drive them because there was no flight zone then. And I remember going through, and I'd loved this. We got to Tobruk and stopped off for something to drink. And I remember getting out because I remember my uncle, he told me he came into Tobruk and was in the Second World War. So I was taking all these pictures and things. Then we drove to Benghazi through the desert. And we got to Benghazi. Then 2 of the people we were with, they got pulled out. Their company pulled them out. But this guy called Alex, he says, "I'm staying." I thought, brilliant. I've got my dream. I always had that little dream to go to war as a little boy and fight for my country. And although I've never been a soldier, and I know it's still not been a soldier, but I'm on part of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So I was in Libya, and we got stuck in Libya. The driver took off. He said he was going to fight for the cause. We just think he was taking off, to be honest. He didn't want anything to do it.
Yeah.
And I managed to get Alex back from Benghazi back to Cairo, and we went through Egypt from places where you think we're going to lose our heads here. Like they didn't. Probably had, I don't know how many lifts we had back at Datsuns and different things, but he's always been grateful for that. And he always says, he says, I always thought you was a soldier. And my joke's always, I've done 2 years in Army Cadet, still got thrown out. So it freaks him out a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And yet we've always stayed good friends. Then from Libya, I went to Afghan, and I actually that was, for me, Dave, to say I was so proud of myself. I've got to what I always wanted to be. Again, I'm not being a soldier, but I'm part of a team. Went to Bagram. I worked for an American company. Didn't know where I was going. 3 days later in Bagram, I got a thing on the end of my cot. Go to the airport, and I was west a place called Kunduz, up in the north part, onto a fob up there. It's a little American base. There was Brits there still. So I'd done 3 months there. Every day I had a happy face, man.
Mate, you've done more than most soldiers I know, bro.
People say that, like,
there's some soldiers that shouldn't be soldiers. Just because you sign up to train in your classroom does not make you a soldier.
But you know what I loved about there, because I'm an honest guy, and I told the guys I'm not a soldier, and you could see, think, why the fuck's he here? And I get that. What fucking how was he got here? And yet, just me being, and I am just, you just see what you get with me.
Until they like know and trust you, then you're a soldier. Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely, and I totally, I respect that. And when I realised I had that respect, it was Remembrance Day, and they had their own thing going, and I thought it'd be wrong for me to go because I'm not being a soldier, so I stayed in my cot. Chris, who we're still friends with today, he came and get your fucking ass out there. He says, you've got every right to be there as much as we have. And I just thought, I feel part of the team then. And I'd still get emotional by that. And what I loved about that place was some of them people I've never seen again, still touched at Christmas. I know if I go to Texas, I've got a bed, and I think it's that, which you'll definitely understand more than me. You make that bond, don't you?
100%, yeah.
I made a bond with people in 3 months that I've been around for 20 years. I've never made a bond with.
We literally spoke about it in the podcast.
Oh, have you? And I just think, fucking hell, man. The guy who was in charge, and I couldn't believe this. He said, I want you to come to Iraq with us. So even then, so that was my next place. And I remember getting home.
You've manifested that, bro.
Aye, massively, 100%. Oh, that's from the Warlord comics and Victor's. Definitely.
The leopard crawling on the ice.
Oh, and that, definitely. And I was supposed to go to Iraq, but again, another switch moment. So, nah, I'm not going.
Why?
I thought, what I learned in Afghanistan, when I was in my tower or wherever I was on gate duties or whatever, the lads would come and speak to us, and they would share the relationships as fucked up. They said really personal stuff to us. And I started looking at myself, you know what, I've always been that friend. I've always been there for people. I've always listened to people. I don't judge people. So I'm going to train to be a counsellor. So I thought, didn't know how to do it. Got to college, done 4 years training, failed the first time because I'm dyslexic. I didn't realise till later on in life. Then passed the second time and I became a counsellor.
That's amazing, bro. That's a massive achievement, man.
I fucking, and I trained to be a life coach, because when you train to be a counsellor, they're trying to tell you what to do. And I've always got that thing, no, don't tell me what to do. Because I like to get people out. So I'll go onto Sutton Park with clients. I used to have a client at Wetherspoons on a Saturday morning. I'd have 2 pints of Guinness and we'd work together. And that's how I wanted to do my counselling. I have the room at home. I get lads into the self-defence part. We'd go half an hour on the pads, do a bit of it, and sit down with them.
Dave told me about how you started his counselling session.
Oh, did he tell the medicine ball?
Told me, yeah.
Yeah. But that's how it breaks it. And it's...
relatability.
Aye, yeah.
You're taking them out. I used to hate going to a room with a clock player, with a guy with a suit.
Aye, yeah.
Hated it. If you can... That's what's the difference between, I think, like counselling and coaching, which I've started coaching people now. It is... I had to, mate, because the universe kept pushing me into it to help people. It's being the abnormal.
Aye.
Everyone's got their own answers.
Yeah, definitely.
We just try and draw it out.
Yeah, massively. And that's why I became a life coach, because counselling's different, the way you're trained and that. So I thought,
it's a tick box.
Of course it is. So I'm definitely not your stereotypical. I'm sitting there in the summer, shorts on, my legs is hanging over the chair. I can't sit still sometimes. That's who I am.
Who's counselling here when they come in? Like,
yeah.
But you've been through the freaking mill, and that what makes you relatable. And I think people get that energy off you straight away. Like, you're such a lovable character, but you know you've been through your pain, bro.
Aye,
that's
kind. Yeah.
Like if I passed you in the street, or say we were sat, I don't know, I need to speak to you. Do you know what I mean? I can pick that energy up.
You can see it in people, like, can you?
Yeah,
you know who not to speak to, and you know who to speak to, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm very like protecting my energy, like, because I do a lot of medicals across the country with fingers. I can tell when to close the door. We need to have a chat, bro. Like, I ain't doing no medical until we speak, and then they'll just burst out to that, as you know. But then some people just like try and take like make sure medical out.
No, it's and that's the kind of counsellor I am, and you know I've done that since I've come back from Afghanistan, and that's where I am really now. Sadly, the book came in was 14 years later. Michelle got diagnosed with cancer, and she used to go around all her family in Birmingham delivering birthday cakes on the doors for the birthday. And selfishly, I would have nothing to do with it. I just want to forget about it, Dave, to be honest. I'd go to bed the day before, wake up the day after, if I could. She couldn't drive at this time, so I had to do it. And I remember delivering the cakes, and I could feel the tears coming out my eyes. I couldn't stop it. As much as I tried to suck it up, I couldn't stop it. Came back home, and I went and got Alana's memory box and Dana's memory box. I'd never looked into these boxes ever. Took them into my little dojo, and I read every single card from people from my hometown, the amount of love people were giving us. I just didn't ever look at them. I would look at the little claws, which would fit in a hand, to be honest, Dave. They were that small. And I couldn't stop crying. And when I kind of dried myself up, I thought,
you needed that, man.
Yeah,
you needed that.
100%. That was 14 years too late. That like, not too late. It comes when it comes, doesn't it? But I decided then, all right, another switch. I thought, there's got to be other guys like me who's struggling because of grief, and they're being strong for the women because that's how they've been made to, but they're not grieving themselves. So I decided to write the book. And I went and saw Michelle, and it came up with the title Daddy and the Two Bears, because we always call them our little bears. And it's kind of spin on Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Yeah.
Wrote it not thinking anything would kind of come of it. I hoped it would have. Just a couple of weeks ago, I looked on Amazon. There's 114 reviews, but the good thing about it, the positive reviews, there's blokes reading it.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted, the blokes. That's allowed me to go to Southampton, do a talk to midwifery students, because they're trying to learn now. They're all there for the women, and rightly so. But what about the blokes? Who looks after the men? And they're starting to change that now. You know, I think it'll be a slow process, but it's definitely getting there.
Because there's quite a lot of detachment, I think, from males and kids. We get the worst end of it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? We're just the father. They provided the food on the table.
Yeah, well, that's a caveman syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah, but fuck now, we hurt, bro.
I was hurting. The way I dealt with it, Dave, I didn't really realise back then. I challenged myself every single year to raise money for the Birmingham Women's Hospital. I think over the years I've made over 40 grand for them. It always has to be, but I have to put myself in something difficult where I'd stop training. And again, that's that self-harming part. So I'd push my body. I'd done the coast to coast. And I remember the end of that, my feet were ripped apart. I had to go to the hospital. I had blood poison, but I kept on walking. I couldn't put my feet down. I'd have to walk on my heels because I just couldn't put my feet down anymore. Last year I done Cleveland Way, and I done that for Ukraine, for the kids. It always has to be for kids or anything to do with mental health.
The purpose outweighs your pain, bro.
Definitely. But obviously the book came out, and I'd done that in COVID. Nearly lost our house because I was working all the schools. Michelle had just handed a notice on being a teacher. She wanted to train to be a counsellor because she went back. Realised she didn't want to
teach. Being around you, she needs to be a counsellor.
She'll tell you that. I'm sure she will. Like, to go to it. So no, that's where I am now. It's just putting anything I can do to help people, I'm going to do it. But I've learned to help myself as well, Dave, which I never used to do. A lot, really. Like,
you pour it into your own cup at the minute, like that, which is good, because then you can help more people. But you can't help everyone.
No, definitely not. I know when somebody comes to me, I know there's no point me working on that. I can actually, within half an hour, I can suss it out.
Yeah.
You maybe need to go and see somebody else, or come back when you're actually ready.
Yeah.
You can hear it in them, like,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what I'm going to keep doing, trying to get as many talks out there. It's not to be construction sites, it's just kind of fallen that way because of Dave and different things. Anything to do with blokes, really, women as well. And I don't,
you never know what avenues open up. You just got to keep doing what you're doing, and other avenues will open up for you.
No, definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we were supposed to meet 100%.
No, I believe that.
100%. Yeah.
And look, you know, I'm not going to go into Dave, but because Dave's told you, but the relationship me and Dave had to start off with, they've become good
It's
buddies.
amazing. Like, yeah, there was, see, on my podcast, like, that he spoke about you in there so highly. You saved his life, as simple as that. You saved his life.
I won't say that. Like, he can
100%.
say that.
I get what you're saying, because you go into that counsel, you go into that coaching mindset.
Yeah.
You know, that they've got to take accountability of making their own actions.
Yeah.
But if he didn't make that call to you, and you weren't the way you were, he could have went the opposite way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you were cemented in that part of his life to change his life.
Yeah. And we're doing things together now. You know,
exactly. Any way I can help you, bro. Like, I want people to hear your voice.
That's kindly, mate. That's lovely of you to say that.
So, I just want to say thank you for coming on, bro. Like, it's a fucking...
Oh, thank you.
You're a wanky. You made me cry, bro. Like, I'm trying not to cry on my podcast. But honestly, your story is so powerful. You're powerful. Your purpose is powerful. Just keep being you.
Yeah.
How can my listeners find you on your social medias and stuff like that?
I'm on... The only one I'm on is Instagram. It's like secure than one of them little minus signs. Little minus signs.
What I'll do, mate, I'll tag it on my one so people know.
Yeah, because I'm terrible at that.
Yeah, but follow him on, obviously, on social media. But I've got a couple of questions for you before we leave.
Okay.
This is always what I do on my podcast. So you got to pick number 1 to 15, please, man.
1.
Straight ahead. What do people misunderstand about you most?
About me? What do people misunderstand about me? Actually, it's probably more what I misunderstand about me. I think people have had me known I was a good person. I've just come to my head. I think when people first meet me, they see me as bald-headed, and I know this has been
said to me,
thug, thug, not very intelligent, because I've had that get thrown against me. What do you know? I think they get surprised at how humble I am, really.
Which is it. I get that as well. Don't bring it back to me, but you're setting out a persona because of how you look. People come into me and say, "Oh, actually, you're a nice guy." I'm like, what do you mean I'm actually a nice guy?
I'd say that's definitely
And then number 1 to 10?
2.
What book would you recommend to the audience that you've read?
What could I recommend to the audience that I've read?
Yeah.
I could say Daddy in the Two
Plug
Beds.
your book, bro.
Let
me grab it.
Okay.
So if you can't see it, guys, you can now.
Yeah.
This book here, obviously, I'll put it onto my page as well because you gave me this, and I can't wait to read it. It's called Daddy and the Two Bears, and obviously, it's about your daughters and yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not just about it's about keeping going, isn't it?
It's the first signed one.
That's the first signed one.
First signed one, guys. 10 years, I'll put this on eBay or something.
I'll buy it back off you.
Exactly, yeah. So one question for myself to you is, what do you think your daughters would think of you right now?
They'd be proud. I can't say we've got to stop crying.
You can say it, bro. Say it.
They'd be proud of me. They will be. How I've turned my life around and what I'm trying to do.
This is the reason you're doing it, bro.
Yeah. I would like to do it without applause, but you can't do it without applause. I've realised that because I'd try to go beneath the trenches. I wasn't getting anywhere, so I've had to come out and do things like this. And
because you're so naturally in that low sometimes, because it's all we ever know. We don't want appreciation. We don't want validation. Because if we get it, we're just like, no, don't want it, don't want it.
Yeah.
If I had you as a dad, bro, I'd be fucking proud.
Oh,
to call you my dad, bro. Honestly, promise you.
Oh, that's
and
so kind.
What you've been through, bro.
It means a lot, that, man.
Insane. Like, your daughters would be so proud. I can just feel the energy, bro. Like, they were so lucky to have you as a dad for that small part of their life. You gave them more love than most dads would give their kids for their entire life, bro. And you're still doing it now.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of you to say that, mate.
No, I'm proud of you, bro.
It goes both ways.
No, just thank you for coming on, mate.
Nah.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
So, guys, obviously tune into this episode. It's made me freaking teary as well, but yeah, I'm a bit flabbergasted by it. It's just to take a step back. But everyone, please tune in, like, share, and comment their story. Obviously, I'm going to promote his book in here because it's an amazing book. Just keep doing what you're doing. So, guys, have an amazing day. Have an amazing week from the Mindset Soldier.